Okay? What are some bad things that we hear about Brampton? Too many immigrants, too many brown people, too many migrants. I want us to rethink this for a second, okay? And it's not necessarily about thinking us as voters, but we have to remember for Canada, okay? There's a few places you can win an election, and Brampton is one of them. Brampton is the heart of power in Canada. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. When I say I hate, I don't believe in electoral politics, but this is the heart of power here. And it doesn't matter how much they disrespect, what you're doing here is trying to hold power to account. So be honored, be proud, and be very grateful and happy that you're standing up and doing a fight which many other people aren't doing. You're an inspiration to us and countless other people. You are a heart of struggle. Please never forget that. They tell us, they tell our friends who are immigrants, who are migrants, those who don't have papers, that they don't have a voice, that they have to know their place. You're basically giving them the middle finger and saying, yes, we belong. Yes, we are going to fight. And no, you are not going to disrespect us. So shout out to all of you. Now, I want us also to remember, as many of us have family from India or from the Punjab, this is part of a long, over 100 years, 100 years of fighting. Many of you have heard about the Kogamata Maru and what they did in British Columbia to our ancestors and what happened to them when they went back home. We also know about the other struggles of working class workers, of the Industrial Workers Alliance. These are our ancestors. These are people like all of us trying to make a home and fighting workplace injustices. Let's also go to the Canadian Farm Workers Union, who are South Asians and East Asian, Punjabi farm workers who got fought and died to build our farm system here in Canada. In the 70s, when I was born and when my mom and my father came here, we had a very, I'm not going to use a term, but they called us all derogatory names. They called us all type of horrible names for being brown. They put some of us, not myself, but people I knew, their heads in their toilet. They threw down people who looked like us on Islington subway. They threw them in the tracks just because they were brown. But people fought back, like the East Indian Defense Committee, people like all of us. Later on, farm workers, unionized workers, and other precarious workers in the 80s and 90s fought as well, too. These are the shoulders that we stand on. And this is a legacy of how and why we all fight together. Now, the group of workers that I usually try to fight with are from the Caribbean, from Mexico, from Thailand, the Philippines. And you're like, well, hold on. What does this have to do with me? We are in Brampton, they are there. Different immigration restrictions, but very, very similar. They're tied to a permit. They're tied to a boss. We have workers who have been coming up 40, 50 years. Actually, on Friday or Thursday, we had a worker, 42 years. They worked in Canada. He had a heart attack and died on the job. 40 years. Imagine working here and being told that you're never going to belong here in Canada. You can never apply for permanent residency. There are many, many groups, hundreds of thousands of people just like you, who may not be postgraduate, but other types of immigrants or migrants that they say they do not belong. And what we want to do is to try to get us together in different ways to show that our fights are similar. The postgraduate work permits, the farm workers, the caregivers, the construction workers, the fights are similar, and we need to fight together. Your videos and your pictures are being shared wide. Farm workers all across Ontario are seeing them. People across British Columbia, Quebec, Jamaica, all these countries are seeing what you're doing. And for us, the next step of this fight is finding ways for all of us to work together to fight against divisions, to fight against racism, to fight against xenophobia, to fight against our own communities who may try to think that we don't belong here. And to remember, the power of our country is not those bastards in Ottawa or in Toronto. The power is right here. The power is in this community. And this is how we fight, and this is how we win. I love you guys. I seriously do. Peace out and power.
ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ ਰੈਮਜ਼ਰੂਪ ਜਸਟਿਸ ਫॉर ਮਾਈਗ੍ਰੈਂਟ ਫਾਰਮ ਵਰਕਰਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀ ਵੀ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਲੜਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਖਾਸ ਕਰ PGWP ਹੋਲਡਰਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੱਦੇ ਆਉਗੇ ਤੇ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਿਓ ਫਰਜ਼ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੂਰਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਇੱਕ QR ਕੋਡ ਆ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਹੁਣੇ ਪਾਸ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ QR ਕੋਡ ਦੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਖਿੱਚ ਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਚਿੱਠੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਭੇਜ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਆਟੋਮੈਟਿਕ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੈਸੇ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ QR ਕੋਡ ਬਾਰੇ ਬਾਲਾ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਪਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਲਿਓ ਪਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਈਨ ਕਰ ਲਿਓ ਲੰਗਰ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਲੰਗਰ